is up, the internet? Hello. Hello. Hello, friends.
Romans countrymen?
Friends, Roman countrymen, lend me your ears.
I'm under the live button, by the way.
I know. Not on my screen.
Well, on the people's screen. I'm a torso.
I'm moving you down.
Okay.
Yeah, so today has been a weird day for me. I am maybe not in the best position to be podcasting.
No, we're going to cast the pod because we're good at
But we're going to do it anyway because we're freaking professionals.
Right.
You know, professionals who have done prep.
We had an idea for prep, but you couldn't bring yourself to do it.
Couldn't bring myself to do it. Today was going to be a special episode of the news from the Nexus.
Mm-hmm. It'll be now moved to next week.
Yes.
If Kyle can figure out how to do it.
I have to hate myself just a little more than I do in order to get through the idea for next week.
No, I don't think you...
Should I go handle that?
Yeah, go do that. If you can
You
catch
talk to the internet.
Why? I would much rather let them watch me watch you. He's gonna go get some people, guys. There's somebody here in like a go-kart driving around in our parking lot. Not appropriate. Not really legal. I mean, it did have a roll cage, though. So he's gonna go hassle some people, because... What's going on, people? It's not a goatee, Susie. Not really. Kind of. I don't like it. I don't know. I'm used to it, I think, at this point. It bothers me less. How did that go?
Why are you not talking to the internet?
I was just talking to the internet, but I saw you were coming back. I informed the people of the go-kart with the roll cage.
Thank you, Susie. Pat, we are professionals.
We kind of know.
I'm gonna go through. I have a bunch of random screws. I'm gonna throw it at a kid in a go-kart. Yeah. And see what happens.
Can we move this rig to sit on the sidewalk so we can just like the entire
It's so
time we're
cold out.
podcasting, just throw nails?
All right. So we had a plan for today, but it kind of went to.
Susie, you're blasphemous.
No, she's right. It's better than the full beard.
I don't know about that.
I can tell you why.
Why? COVID free?
No, it all goes one direction, whereas the whole beard had just started to kind of go wherever it wanted.
Oh hell, beards do that. Have you seen Cody Lockwood's?
It's true. Cody gets his to go one direction.
Well, because he had to get it past the awkward stage you were in.
Whatever.
Like I'm
Anyhow,
currently, because I.
by the way, Cody's is also just this, just longer.
That's fair.
Okay. So anyhow.
But I'm just saying, I'm in this awkward stage with my undercut because I haven't been able to go get it shaved. I have this like weird, like longish hair, but it's not, and I don't like it.
Back to the thing at hand. The news from the Nexus, which is today's been a weird day.
Oh, it's not the kid in the go-kart?
No.
Okay. Because that was like pretty...
As you can see behind Amanda, things here are a little different. The people who bought the inventory of the store came today and got their inventory. So it's been a long, sort of brutal day for me.
The inventory that we sold them.
Is he back?
They're doing less on the sidewalk. It was a new kid, but he just went down that way now.
Okay.
But it seems like they're coming down this way, and then they're coming up the alley to go across.
All right, the internet. Talk to Amanda for a minute.
Uh-oh. What are you doing?
I'm gonna call the police.
Yes! Guys, this is the entertainment. This is entertainment, people. He is going to call the cops. And the cops of a small town who have nothing better to do but come bust some teenagers riding a go-kart with roll cage on the sidewalk. That's what we're going to do. So, this is kind of fun.
All right, talk to the internet.
Guys, what do you want to talk about? How is quarantine for you? Are you quarantined or are you essential?
It's not an emergency. There's some kids riding a go-kart.
There he goes. So, I'm obviously essential, so I gotta work every day. Do you? Did you guys go to Taco Bell today? where they were giving out free Doritos Locos tacos? Because Taco Tuesday? Did you do that? Dragon. What did James? Oh, you got it. So, what are you guys doing? What's going on with you?
Go-kart. And, as far as I can tell, you have it looks like kids.
So, what, Pat? You just what? What? Tell me, Pat. Use your words. Yeah, they're doing free tacos. So yeah, you get a free Doritos Locos taco if you go through the drive-thru at Taco Bell. Because you've got to social distance people.
No, I just...
CNN even covered it, so you know it's real news.
Near my cars like that. You know, if I have a customer turn in and not see them, they're going to get hit. So, not that a customer's coming, but any of my staff, any of that kind of thing. So.
Yep. So, how was your day? What's going on?
Bye-bye.
You guys aren't talking. Pat's talking, and I'm just rambling.
All right, I'm back.
He's back.
The police are coming. The police are coming.
Woo!
They're coming to take them away. Haha, they're coming to take them away. Okay, so I've had a very long day, which is why I have a short fuse.
I'm very curious.
James Bland says he's quarantined watching Dragnet 2020. Pat is essential. And he did not hear about the free tacos.
Yeah, I know. I filled him in on the free tacos.
We had not tacos from there. We had tacos from Hothead Burrito. $2 tacos on Tuesday at Hothead Burrito.
It's true.
If you're into burritos.
Or tacos.
Yes.
Or build your own Mexican.
Pretty much. Fast, casual Mexican food.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Seth.
That's new.
What's new?
There is an auto-generated captions now available.
Interesting. Put it on. Let's see what they think we're saying.
I turned it on.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes, Pat.
Oh, it's coming up in the corner.
Is it?
Yes.
I want to see what they think we're saying. Because is it like the auto-generated ones for YouTube where like it's never what the people are actually saying?
No, it seems very close.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
So, other things that have happened. Motor City Comic Con has canceled.
Yeah, they did. That was crazy.
Yes, Motor City is postponed until a future date, which is sad panda for so many people.
I know, we don't get to meet Meatloaf now.
This is twice that's happened to me.
I know.
Oh my gosh, I'm triggered. Look.
Because last year he canceled.
Look, last year, well, okay. So last year Meatloaf was supposed to be at Motor City.
Yep.
For those of you who don't know of my love for Meatloaf.
And we're talking about the musician.
The singer, not the food.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Meatloaf fan. He was supposed to be at Motor City, and he was not because he had fallen off a stage and was in the hospital.
Yep.
They're now saying he now is claiming that fall off of the stage has permanently ended his ability to perform.
I didn't know that.
Yep, because he can't stand for as long as he needs to be able to perform.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like I would totally pay the price of admission to see a Meatloaf concert if he sat in a lazy boy the whole time and had pyrotechnics.
And ate a meatloaf? And
had pyrotechnics around him while
I'm
he
just
sang
saying.
in the lazy boy.
So, Meatloaf, I was going to meet him last year and then he canceled.
Yeah, which for an understandable reason. We are glad he is well again.
Yes, I'm super glad he is okay. However, that brings me back around to this year. I was going to meet him this year.
Because he was back.
And you know who else is going to be there?
Creed
Bratton from The Office, which we're going to talk about later. But I had gone out and bought a Grassroots record, which is the band Creed Bratton was in.
In the 60s.
In the 60s. It struggles with Creed.
Oh.
It said Fred Bratton.
Who's Fred Bratton?
No idea. But, you know, it was the band that Creed was in. I was going to have Creed sign the record. Like, all these things that I had planned for Motor City, and now they're postponed.
Yep.
Which is sad.
It's sad.
But, in the good news front, this past weekend, we did something ridiculous.
Oh my god, but yeah. I almost forgot.
How did you almost forget? I'm still sore.
I don't know. Seth says I know, I'm not saying the captions either, but Kyle's saying the captions, so I don't know. Unless it's a setting I don't have turned on.
Yeah, if you go into the, if you click on, hold on, I'll show you. Please hold the internet. Okay.
Oh, ooh, hello.
Hmm.
They're in the big one.
Yeah. Okay, so in I'm not sure I can do it because I'm the host.
No, that's probably. I'll figure it out.
If you go, there should be a little cog in the bottom right-hand corner of your live video, and you should be able to turn captions on. Seth, would you do anything for love? Is that what that's a reference to?
I would do anything.
So,
Yeah, that doesn't exist, Kyle.
let me see.
I promise you.
Go to it from your Facebook.
I am going to it from my Facebook.
Okay, you're not going to it from the source page?
No.
Okay. I have to see. There's a thing, though. It says auto-generated captions.
Interesting.
And maybe it'll be available for the rewatch. Maybe that's what's happening.
Right, is that it's
I don't know.
generated?
This is a new thing.
Yeah,
we'll see what
trying
happens.
it. Yeah.
So anyhow.
Yeah, buddy, he says.
Anyhow. We did a ridiculous thing this weekend, which is Amanda and I hosted 15 hours of the Party for the End of the World.
Yep.
Which was our virtual Comic-Con in-store signing bonanza.
With like 28 creators.
28 at least. 27, 28 creators.
Yeah.
All showed up and spent time with us on Saturday as part of the Party for the End of the World. You will see a post tomorrow with all of those things that those creators had to offer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm reading the captions.
Yeah.
And it said, with 2728. You know what? All right, at least they're trying.
It's right.
But we had all these creators join us on our virtual Comic-Con, the Party for the End of the World.
We kicked it off at 10:30 in the morning.
We did. We started at 10:30.
And I think we ended our last video
at
after
12:30.
some technical difficulty. Yeah, just before 12:30.
We started with Seth the Moose.
Yes, we did. Who's here?
And we ended with Leah Letterman dressed as Eric Gutierrez. Somehow, I
think there was a lot of
the
whiskey
day
involved.
devolved.
It did. It definitely turned into an after a dark feature by that hour.
Right. I don't drink, but I was drunk on O'Doul's. Like, it got ridiculous.
It really did. It really did cross a line at that point. But again, so the last panel started.
You're so far from camera.
I'm sorry. The last one started at what, 9:30?
Yes.
Yeah. So by that point, like, we are well into the after dark hours. Like, we're out of prime time. Kids are in bed. So it's
True.
allowed to a little bit devolve. You know, it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
And by that point, some of the is this better?
Significantly.
Some of the guests had been
imbibing
a little bit. Better than the one that we just disappeared on us, and then all we ever saw was like a black screen on their Zoom for however many hours before we finally kicked him out.
Yeah, no, it was wild.
It was wild.
But so we did that, and I guess it is an announcement, because this is always where we talk about our announcements and things. We are already planning our next one.
Yes.
And it may just so happen to coincide with the weekend that Motor City was supposed to happen. But we're going to get out those informations
We're very
later.
preliminary right now. Like, right now we're
So
kind of
preliminary.
just gathered that people would like to do this again. We need to sit down, and I think those conversations will probably happen this time next week, where me and Kyle will sit down. We should, by that point, have everything that we need to have moved out of here. So then we can sit down and we can start planning. We can truly post-mortem this past one. And
literally post-mortem in my case. I feel like I'm about to die.
Right. Well, we didn't get a chance to sit down and talk about what we did well, where we could improve.
It's true.
Things that we always do after anything we do.
It's true.
So, it's coming, the internet. Watch this space. Make sure you're following us.
Hey, Jay Boyd. Hey, Tom
now.
Riggs.
If you're on your phone, if
Yes.
you just hit your screen, you should be prompted to follow.
Yes.
So,
that was something we did this weekend that was absolutely insane.
it was insane. It was exhausting.
And we pulled it together in like 2
We did.
days?
2.5 days.
3 days?
Maybe
Something like
3.
that? Yeah.
We didn't have a ton of lead
Super
time, so for it to
fun.
be what it was, and for me to spend the amount of money that I spent, I think it wasn't bad.
Super fun.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Other things have happened.
What other things have happened?
Well, we have entered a new phase of the coronavirus situation in the world. We have entered the Tiger King phase, which is where the internet is 2 things: coronavirus, Tiger King, and me making fun of everyone else.
It's true. I watched it all. I finished it this weekend.
Yes. But realistically, in a real serious way, tomorrow is the first time in their history. This week is the first time in the history of Diamond Comics distributors that they did not distribute new titles this week.
Yeah, that's...
So tomorrow, unless a company, a comic book store, who still manages to be open,
Yep.
has worked out a deal with a publisher, there will be no new comics tomorrow for the first time, in my understanding, since the Second World War.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw an article headline. Now, I didn't read the article, but yeah, they were saying that, it was one of those, like, it's been, like, no new comics are being published, period.
A lot of
In, like, a
companies have given the pencils down order to their artists and writers. So this is an unprecedented week for comic stores, guys. And Pat, we were going to get to that. This is an unprecedented week for comic stores, guys, and people like me are not okay.
Yeah.
Luckily, I'm okay because, well,
Right.
you can see what's going on behind Amanda. I'm good with it. But a lot of other comic stores are going to be a lot of hurting because of this. And then you add that to today's news that Pat has to let the cats out of the bag early. God. Pat.
I don't know what Pat's letting the cat out of the bag about.
Diamond told their vendors today that they can't pay them. Which is to say that Diamond is cash poor without the new influx of books and without the new influx of invoice payments. So Diamond has stopped payment to their vendors.
Right.
What that means is that a lot of small publishing companies, maybe those Source Point Press and smaller. I think Source Point will be fine because Source Point's smart. But there are a lot of publishing companies that are in that real small niche.
Pat, don't be salty.
Yeah, Pat, we're not doing that. We're going to do this. Hide.
That's a whole nother conversation for another time and another place.
We're not bringing the negativity, Pat.
Nope.
We're not doing it. But I feel like a lot of small publishing companies and small publishing houses are going to really...
They're straight circling looking for these kids.
I know they are going to really be struggling because they've shipped their product to Diamond, which they've had to pay the freight on, and now there's no place for them to go.
Right, like they have basically, it seems like there's going to be companies here that have product being kind of held hostage.
Yes.
In Diamond's warehouses because of them making this decision after all of this stuff has already been kind of shipped. And I'm sure a lot of it has been prepped to ship to stores by this point.
Right.
Because
So
like it's Tuesday, where I would say a large portion of your comic book stores would have received their new books for tomorrow today.
Right. Which is exactly how that should have gone. So here's why I'm bringing it up. One, if you live in an area where your LCS is still open.
I don't know, Pat. I'm unsure. They may have. But, like, what stores are receiving, I guess, is the big question. New York's on lockdown.
No, Pat, that's not how that works. The only Diamond warehouse that's open is Olive Branch, and it's only fulfilling existing orders.
Oh.
So it's only fulfilling reorder products.
Got it.
So everything else is shut down because everything else is in a shelter-in-place state.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Diamond headquarters is in California, correct? No.
Maryland.
Yes. It's the other way around, right?
Marvel and DC are in California. Well, DC's in California. Marvel is several places. But no, so here's the deal. Look, if your LCS is still open and they're offering curbside delivery or shipping or they're selling books from their Facebook page, please, 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 please buy from them.
Yes.
If not us, because we do our stuff, but because we're not open every day, if you want to support a LCS that could really use it, message the store and I will send you links.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, Top Comics in Traverse City was doing a ridiculous deal this past weekend. And I don't know. I don't want to speak for Mike, the owner of Top Comics, but I'm guessing he'd keep doing it. Could really support them. Could really help them out in this trying time.
Pat, can you text Mike?
Yeah, Pat, will you text Mike and see if the deal from this weekend is still valid?
So we can announce it
for
here
me,
publicly?
please. Yes. But there are a lot of great stores out there that are doing a lot of fun things. Rad Raptor and Adrian has a Patreon.
Because they're doing a lot of podcasting and stuff, and because they're shelter in place.
Right, they're podcasting. They're making content for you to enjoy.
They're doing mystery boxes, like on one of their Patreon levels. You're going to get shipped a box of randomly selected comics every month.
Right. Right.
That's going to be over, like they do a $20 and I think they do a $50 level for that.
Right.
So once a month you can have a box of comics sent to you. That's utterly random.
Right.
So that's kind of cool.
Right. No. Superfly Comics and Games in Yellow Springs, Ohio. They're doing T-shirts, small print run T-shirts and coffee mugs.
Oh, Pat's going to speak for Mike and says that he'll probably honor it through tomorrow.
There you go. So if you get with Mike Akerley from Top Comics in Traverse City, for the cost of shipping, which is $10. Minimum $10. Pay what you want, though. So send him way more money than that. He will put together a pull box for you.
It's basically like a medium flat rate box.
A medium flat rate box. So like 40 books for any character you want.
Or if you want it completely a mystery.
Or if you want it completely random. Like, I think I'm going to send him a request for a random box. Like, just give me all your weird.
Yeah.
If it's got an anthropomorphized talking animal in it, send it to me. Those kind of things, just to support local comic shops. So that's something you can do. And we'll have a lot of that stuff posted tomorrow. Comic shops, creators, anything we know is happening, we'll start sharing that out.
Yeah, we'll probably we'll get together the big post together, because I know Source Point Press, if you order through their website and you use a special discount code, you get 30% off your
house.
It's home.
Home, something like that.
The word home, if you use that, you get a discount on your purchase, and then if you also include your LCS, your local comic shop.
In the comments,
they're going to send
25% of your purchase straight to your local comic shop.
Yeah.
What's up, Ming? Ming is here.
Hi, Ming.
Ming, do me a favor. If you want to, I'm going to send you a link real quick. I want to talk to you in just a minute.
Okay.
We did a thing last night, Amanda and I did.
We did.
I have to put my headphones on, though, if we're going to do this.
Okay.
And you won't be able to hear it. So
Nope.
it'll just be an interview, kind of.
Rude.
I'm going to send Ming a link. But we're going to move on to our talking about the things we've watched.
Mm-hmm.
So we watched The Office.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new episode of The Office Ladies tomorrow.
Yep, so we watched Valentine's Day.
Yes. But we were supposed to watch a movie called Iron Sky.
I watched it. Kyle didn't do his homework.
I didn't do my homework, same as high school.
And it was his idea, guys. Like, this wasn't something that I came up with and was like, hey, we should do this thing. No. Kyle did this thing. Was like, hey, my friend who likes movies and stuff, you need to read this comic book. Oh, and let's watch the movie and talk about it on the podcast. Okay, I'll force myself to watch this D movie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that it's a D. It might be an F.
Mm.
It's bad. It was very bad. It's on Amazon Prime if you want to be tortured. But we're moving that till next Tuesday's podcast. But it's Iron Sky. It is on Amazon Prime. Trigger warning if you have issues with ridiculous Nazi villains. Because they are ridiculous. Oh, Pat started watching The Good Place, and he also has watched the first 4 episodes of Tiger King.
Nice.
I finished Tiger King. I finished Gabriel Fernandez documentary on Netflix. I watched Frozen 2. And I watched the awful Iron Sky. That's what I've watched. Along with The Office last night. And we watched, and this is what I think Kyle's going to be getting to here.
We watched one of the greatest movies that came out this year.
It really kind of might be.
It makes me so happy.
Pat, you knew exactly where we were going with it. Because Pat also watched.
We're going to perhaps have an interview with someone who's in that movie.
If he'll get on here.
In about 20 minutes.
Oh, 20 minutes?
So we're going to jump around.
Okay.
Jump around. Jump around. Jump up, and get down.
Well, if we have 20 minutes, then
he might pop on now. I don't know exactly the context of the Facebook message.
Oh, well, yeah.
But we watched Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
We did.
And I'm hoping that our friend Ming will join us here.
I will say that's the first time I've watched that movie since we went and saw it in the theater.
Oh, it's like the third time I've watched it this quarantine.
Well, I didn't know it was on Amazon Prime until you sent it to me Saturday night?
That's fair.
Sunday night that it was on there? Yeah, Sunday night that it was on there.
That's fair.
And then we watched it. Because I never in my wildest dreams thought it would be free with Prime.
No, that's 100% fair. And I don't know that it should be free with Prime, that it would regularly be free with Prime. But it certainly is.
Oh, it's great.
Now.
It's fabulous.
So.
Because it's the goofiest
It's
thing.
one of the most lovely films I've seen. Mm-hmm. It's got such a big heart.
It does.
There's so many things to talk about. But, we'll talk about those in just a minute. Mm-hmm. When other people get here. Mm-hmm. Hey, speaking of other people. Hey, buddy, can you hear me? Okay. Give me 1 second here to put you live on the podcast here. Properties. Do the thing.
Can I have these headphones to your computer? So I can hear?
I don't know how to do that. Zoom call. Hold on. I'm prepared. I know what I'm doing. There. You guys can see him, but can you hear him? The man, the myth, the Ming Chen. Can you guys
What's
hear
up, everybody?
Yeah, they can hear you. So,
what is up?
So, I've watched one movie more than any movie this quarantine.
Okay.
Jay and Silent Bob's Reboot.
Are you like discovering nuances on every viewing that you didn't see before?
Yes.
It's like The Sixth Sense.
Right.
It's like, oh my God, he was dead the whole time.
Right.
Well, Mike Zapsik was dead the whole movie. You guys didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's cool. How many times have you seen it?
3 in 3 days.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, it's on Amazon Prime now, which is kind of amazing for me. I was supposed to be, and I'll tell you the story. I was supposed to be watching Iron Sky.
Okay.
Which is awful. Like,
okay.
It's a bad movie. And we were going to podcast about that. Do you know that movie?
I don't.
Nazis left the Earth during World War II to move to the dark side of the moon and are planning their return to Earth.
Wow, on paper that sounds awesome.
It is not.
How do you mess that up though? That's such a great plot.
Well, and what's crazy is that it's based on a graphic novel.
Only a comic book creator could come up with a plot that good.
It's true. Like, they're harvesting helium, you know, like off the moon to. It's okay. Forget it. We're not going to go into this because my brain can't handle it.
All right, I'm definitely checking that out though.
Right. Yeah, and there's a sequel.
Oh well, great.
Where is that music coming from?
Yeah, is the sequel called Man in the Super High Castle because it's all the way up on the moon?
No, my Spotify just randomly started playing. So strange.
Oh, it'll do that.
Yeah. So anyhow, so we've watched Reboot. I've watched it 3 times. Amanda watched it yesterday for the first time since we saw it in theaters. I have questions for you.
Ask away.
Do you remember the entirety of the poem?
I do. Well, that was the entire. I mean, that was all that was written. So there was no long, like 14-page soliloquy. That was pretty much it. But Kevin posted the entire scene that was shot that day. It's on his Instagram. It's on my Instagram too. If you guys want to check it out.
Yeah.
My Instagram is Mingchen37, MINGCHEN 37. I just posted. Kevin posted it. I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, and the scene in Reboot, our scene, was maybe 15 seconds. The extended one goes for about 35, maybe 40 seconds. Steve Dave and Fanboy are in it. They utter the infamous "Tell 'em Steve Dave" line. It's pretty good. I wish he would have kept it, but he had to cut it for time.
Amanda just fangirled out so hard.
I'm a listener.
She's a big TESD fan. Like, she got me into it. She was a Patreon subscriber when nobody knew what Patreon was. Like, she is a big TESD. Like, we went to Astronomicon the first year, and like, I was actively concerned I needed to bring tranquilizers if Q had showed up.
Oh yeah, and he almost
right.
He almost did. He was this close to coming, and then the snow kept him back.
Right.
But had it not snowed so bad, Q would have been there.
Right.
He was just gonna help.
Yeah.
He wasn't even invited, but he was. I'm sure Mike and Dustin and the guys would have loved to have had him.
Right.
Just show up. You should. Sometimes Q will just show up when we're at a con, and of course he'll take pictures with everybody. Where he's like, hey, I'll take a photo with you, but you gotta buy an autograph from these guys. So he's always helping us out. It's great.
Amanda may have torn him apart. Like, I'm just
Stop
saying.
It. I'm not that bad.
It's bad.
But having two of the pillars of this podcast, there would have been like,
right. So
it's okay, man. I've seen it happen in person. I may or not have to pull women off of him. So
well, this is the Amanda's fandom level on this, and I want to get back to Reboot for sure. But the first week when it's social distance, stay away from people. Amanda's like, do you want to go see the Impractical Jokers movie? They're like, you shouldn't be going out of your house. And I'm like, yeah, let's go. So that's how crazy Amanda is about those guys. But let's get back to Reboot, okay?
Okay.
You obviously appeared at Chronicon.
Yes.
Were there any other points that you what all was your involvement in that project?
I mean, that what you saw on screen, that was it. Kevin sent us a message maybe 2 or 3 weeks before we shot that, and he was like, hey, I want you guys to come down for a day. I wrote you guys a part in the movie. We'll have you guys in and out. It's only one day. I gave you guys a couple lines, and you guys gotta come down. So I was like, all right, that's cool. Are you guys booking us flights or whatever? And I got a message. So Walt Flanagan does not fly.
Right.
He has not flown since I think Bill Clinton was in office. So he had a bad experience. I think the last time he flew was he had to fly from New Jersey to LA for the original Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back for their scene in that. And he didn't even fly home. He took a train home afterwards.
That
And I
seems like the
remember
most
he
Walt
said it
thing
was
to do.
torture because it took 5 days, and he missed the Super Bowl because there was no TV on the train, and it was torture for him. But it was better than flying. That's how much he hates flying. So, so when I heard Kevin wanted us to go down, he shot in New Orleans, and we were up in New Jersey. And I was like, well, what about Walt? And Walt was like, I think I'll drive down there. I'll drive down by myself. We're like, no, man, don't do that. You know what? We'll go with you. It'll be like a fun road trip. And so we rented a van, and we piled in, and we drove from New Jersey to New Orleans. And if you don't stop, and there is no traffic, it's about 22 hours from New Jersey to New Orleans.
Yeah.
And but we stopped, man. If we saw a roadside stand that said Tennessee Flea Market in Sweetwater, Tennessee, we stopped there. If we saw whatever weird oddity we saw, we ended up stopping. So it took us a little longer than that. And it was very long. It was a very long trip, but we made it down there. And then so we got, I think we got down there. It was actually St. Patrick's Day. The night of St. Patrick's Day was when we arrived. So that was cool. St. Patrick's Day in New Orleans.
Yeah.
That was fun. I just had to make sure I didn't get too lit up before, because I had to be ready to shoot the next day.
It's fair.
The next day we shot. It was in a hotel ballroom, and the Chronicon was pretty much set up. It was like a real con. It was like a ballroom Comic-Con, and it was full of it looked like a Comic-Con with like half comics and like half weed vendors, which was pretty cool. And the panel rooms were set up like panel rooms. And we shot all day and wrapped up. I think by like midnight that night. And the next day we were off and back to driving back to Jersey.
Well, I want to know, one, is there footage somewhere of going to the Mid-Tennessee Flea Market?
Yes, there is.
And
it is on the Tell 'em Steve Dave Patreon site. So we shot we had GoPros and we shot cell phone footage, and they had an editor cut it together into one. I think it's like a 3-part adventure that he cut it into. So going down, we went to the flea market. Coming back up, we heard there was an abandoned Six Flags amusement park near New Orleans. I think it got flooded during the hurricane.
Yeah,
so we tried to go over there
Mhm.
to. We thought maybe we could climb a fence and just start running around the abandoned amusement park, but we weren't the only ones with that idea. They had a guard posted at the entrance, turning people away. And as we were there, we weren't the only one that had this idea. There were a whole bunch of people that were trying to get in. So that guard was necessary.
Yeah, in a weird previous life, I worked on a movie with Jeffrey Dean Morgan at that amusement park.
Oh, wow. So you've been there.
Yeah, well, it's creepy. Like, I don't want to go back ever. Like, I feel like that place is haunted by the ghosts of dead dreams. Like, it's you go in, it's like, hey, that should be awesome, and it looks like it's about to teeter over on everyone,
Right.
You expect the Scooby crew to be, like, in there, like, the old man who owns the amusement park is haunting the town. You expect Scooby-Doo to be there. Like, it's bad.
Yeah, it was cool. From the outside, it looked like a post-apocalyptic amusement park. Just overgrown weeds and rusting amusement rides. It would have been cool to go in there, but unfortunately, we were not able to talk the old security guard into letting us in. He didn't even want to. He was like, "Hey, you can't shoot here. You can't shoot anything here." So we tried our best.
It's probably where he's hiding his meth distribution empire.
Oh yeah, by far. Oh, absolutely. If you're gonna do it there, because he won't let anyone in.
So, did you get to go to like the premieres and some of the road shows that they did for the movie?
I didn't even go to any of the road shows. I didn't even go to the one in Jersey because I think I was at a con that weekend. So I didn't even go to the one in Asbury Park. I heard they were great. I would have loved to have watched it with a big crowd. I saw it when they released it theatrically through I think the Fathom events when they were doing the screenings when they premiered it in theaters. So I saw it with the local Jersey crowd, and yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so you got the poster and everything.
Yep, we went to the one with the poster. That night. No, I know we saw photos of you and video of you from the Impractical Jokers
The premiere.
Premiere, yeah. A picture of you
That was
with
fun.
Paula Abdul.
Yes, yeah. I got a yeah. It's the most unlikeliest photo ever. Me, a bearded Brian Johnson, and Paula Abdul. You kind of look at that and it's like, what dimension is this from?
That's fair. It's very
Yeah.
fair. So, you know, have you been in any other films that Kev has done?
Yeah, I was in Dogma. In Dogma, I'm in the strip club with when Salma Hayek comes out, so that was pretty cool.
Dogma.
Yeah, that was.
Dogma is the movie where I discovered Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it's a great movie. It's one of my favorites. I mean, you like many of Kevin's other films. You will never see a movie like that.
No, when I was 12 years old, my friend had a bootleg, and we watched it, and I'm like, this is my new. I need to watch everything. So that was kind of how my introduction was.
Yeah, who makes religious comedies anymore, and especially one with a poop monster? So it's pretty. It was it's a good movie.
Him and apparently the Monty Python guys. Like, that was it.
Yeah, I guess so. When's the last time they put out anything? So
let me ask you about some other things. We've talked
Sure.
about JSW. There was a lot of podcaster jokes in Reboot. Like,
yes.
oh, my precious podcaster ears.
Yes.
Things like that. So as a podcaster, what would be your podcast kryptonite?
Wow. I mean, like no internet or that's a great question. I think most of our podcasts with Krypton is just like bad audio. Yeah, I mean, you ever try to listen to a podcast where the like people like the mics are 80 feet away.
Yes.
And the hosts don't wear headphones, so they don't know where they are.
Right.
And I think just bad audio is my kryptonite. I think so.
The whole thing's
which
on
is why we
Skype.
opened up which is why we opened up a studio, is we want everyone to have a great recording.
Nice. So, do you have a? Because Chronicon was a thing in the movie.
Yes.
You go to a lot of conventions.
I do.
I go to a lot of conventions. A lot of our viewers right now do not. Pat Koala is here. Pat goes to a lot of conventions and he won't shut up. But
Yeah. Pat runs a convention, so that's awesome.
So, what is your advice to people out there who are looking to make a good convention and have a good convention?
So you're talking like what if you're like someone who's like, hey, I want to either throw a convention or I want to throw a convention,
or I'm going to a convention. What do I need to do to make it good?
Okay. Well, I mean, bring a decent bankroll, save your money, and I would prepare to have fun. I think my convention experience is I used to go to them, right? So I used to go to anyone I could. There weren't this many when I was a kid, and even when you went to one, it was in a church basement or something. It wasn't the level that it is now. Even the small first-year conventions now are awesome, because they have, we've kind of set this kind of standard of what a convention should be, and even the smaller ones, they're just starting out with not a lot of money, are able to put on a pretty decent show. So, so I started as a fan. Now I get invited as a guest, which is pretty cool. So I've kind of seen both sides. But I going to the convention, like I love being on the show floor and being at the convention during the show hours. I love hanging out afterwards as well. So if you can find out where the party's at afterwards, or make some friends and go out there. Somewhere out there after a convention, there's always some kind of group dinner or something.
Yes.
And then after that, there's either people go to a bar or they'll go do karaoke locally, so they'll support a local business, or they'll stay in the hotel lobby and do things like play Cards Against Humanity or something. There's actually a convention after the convention.
Yes.
And I say that's what you need to find. Cons like Cherry Capital Comic Con that Pat's at, it's almost like they focus on these after hours events. So usually on the Friday night of the convention, they have a really amazing drink and draw where all the artists come out, and you can bid on art for charity, and there's alcohol, so that that loosens people up. Usually the Saturday night of the convention, there's a huge karaoke party. So they really focus on getting people together after the convention itself as well. and I think that's where you make all your friends, or that's where you get to hang out with your friends, and then then you hit the show floor the next day, and I think that really completes the convention experience. So, even if you're an introvert and maybe you don't like talking to people, like going to a con, that's where your fellow introverts are. That's
Right.
where you can make some really good friends who are really into the same things that you are. So I really try to encourage people to just venture out and kind of make friends with your fellow geeks for sure.
Yeah, no, comic book conventions is New Year's Eve for introverts.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
You weren't here earlier. We were talking about Amanda and I threw a virtual convention this weekend through Zoom and did it all live on Facebook. And the after party, which was our after dark, just devolved into absolute madness, which is a side of it that I don't think enough regular people get to see. It's always guests and vendors and inner circle people that this was an opportunity for people to see. No, when we get together and it's just us and we're not trying to sell things to people, it gets real wild.
Oh yeah, we're ready to have fun. The day,
Right.
the work day's over from the con floor. Let's have some fun. And I always tell people, it's like, hey, maybe you missed your favorite TV star at the convention. They'll be at the hotel bar that night. Buy them a drink. If you really want to get down and really kind of hang out with them for a little bit, go to the hotel bar, because chances are you might see Billy D. Williams at the cantina.
I played
you
drum
never
chicken
know.
with Scott Snyder way too many times.
Yeah, exactly.
Playing
And,
Cards Against Humanity, and the Cards Against Humanity guys walk up and sit down with you. That's the kind of stuff that happens after the show.
Yeah, for sure. I remember I was at a convention somewhere and I was playing Cards Against Humanity, and all of a sudden, what's his name, John Schneider, who played, I think, Bo Duke, sat down and starts playing with us, and now my mind is blown. When I was an 8-year-old kid, I loved the Dukes of Hazzard, and here I am. He's putting down the 3 midgets shitting into a bucket card. Like, that's like, this is awesome. This is great. I think the dude who played Malfoy's dad was wandering around there too. The guy who played Draco Malfoy, or Lucius Malfoy, was running around. I can't remember his real name, but real tough guy.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac was wandering around that same party, so it was pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The after con is always the most important thing.
Yeah. So get out, venture out afterwards.
Shared with the celebrity guests.
Yeah, well, that's when you get in the elevator and you see whoever. Oh my God, drunk Sergeant Slaughter at C2E2.
Oh boy.
He couldn't find his floor. He didn't know what
Right.
floor he was on because he was hammered in the elevator and he got super
Sure, there are like
lost.
37 floors in that building, so I don't blame him.
No, but he was super lost. And I'm like, that's Sergeant Slaughter from WWE and G.I. Joe. Oh my God.
That's right.
Like, I'm
Right.
fangirling out and he's like, I don't know where I'm going.
Oh, where's my room?
Right.
Knowing half the battle, like, all right,
Jason
sir.
Isaacs.
She got me.
Not Oscar Isaacs. Oscar Isaacs.
That's right.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, she's right.
Dameron. Yeah, no. Yeah, we know who you meant.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where
So-
your two fandoms collide.
Right.
Harry Potter and Star Wars.
So, absolutely, man. Well, thank you for coming on and talking about the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is there
Anytime, my
anything?
friend.
Let me ask you one last question as we go out.
Wait.
Is there anything you wish you had gotten to do in that movie? Like, is there a part you wish you had gotten to play?
In reboot? Oh man, I mean, no, because I got to be myself.
Oh,
So
that's
like,
fair.
how great is that? When the credits roll up, it says Ming Chen as himself. How great is it? I didn't have to act. So a lot of people, after they saw that, like, hey man, we thought you were really good. I'm like, really? Like, one, I was playing myself, and two, in the movie, I read a soliloquy and you see me holding a little book. The lines were right there. I didn't even have to memorize anything. The lines were right there. So it was cool. I mean, anytime Kevin puts out any kind of Jay and Silent Bob movie, and as a fan of Kevin Smith, if I get to be in a scene with Jay and Silent Bob, that's really cool. So in Dogma, I'm sitting right next to them at a strip club. You can't beat that. And then in this movie, I'm at a con as they run by, as we're in a con panel, and Dietrich Bader is there, and yeah, it couldn't have gotten better. I really don't know any other role or part that he could have written in there, or that I could have like, hey man, can I play this? That he could have done it. I think that was cool, and I got to be in a movie with Brian, Walt, and Mike. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty cool.
Shout out to Dietrich Bader for being on the DL, one of the funniest dudes to ever live.
Yeah, and afterwards he was like, "Hey man, I thought you were really good." I'm like, "Thanks, man." And he's Dietrich Bader. He's a comedic genius.
Right. No.
Well, I guess I did a good job. So
Right.
that's pretty high praise from Dietrich Bader. So yeah, I thought that was cool. So that was, I mean, as far as days go, as far as as much fun as you can pack into a 24-hour period. Got New Orleans and then being in a Kevin Smith movie, and Brian Quinn was there too. I couldn't have asked for anything more. So thank you, Kevin Smith, for sure.
Yeah. And thank you, Ming, for popping on and being on our little Tuesday fun podcast that we do. Where it's just me and Amanda goofing off about the store. I appreciate it, man.
Cool. And a lot of people are like, "Hey, man, how are you? How are you holding up in all of this?" I'm like, "Man, I've been spending half my time on the internet live streaming."
Right.
So.
Right. You're live, and if you're not live, I'm live. Is what seems to be happening.
Yeah. We're just kind of we're keeping it going. So, and
hey, we got to do that, man. That's how we get through this. Is everybody just stays live on the internet, talking about Tiger King.
Yeah, it's cool. And I was going through some of my old files, and I saw I found an old blooper reel from Comic Book Men that I don't think anyone's ever seen. I think I might roll that later on this week. And Comic Book Man actually has a little scene pilot episode that never aired, so I might roll that as well. So if you're paying attention to any of my social media, that may pop up probably late one night. And
yeah. So if you think about it, shoot me a message or yell at me, and I'll make sure I share it on our pages and stuff.
Okay, cool.
Tell people where they can follow you on the socials and where they can find you doing Ming things.
I'm all over. So if you're watching on Facebook right now, you can add me. I'm at Ming Chen or Ming Chen CBM. CBM stands for Comic Book Men. Ming Chen CBM is Facebook. Twitter, Instagram, everything else is Ming Chen 37, MINGCHEN 37. Follow that up. It's a lot of fun.
And a Shared Universe podcast studio.
Yep. Yeah, and the Shared Universe podcast studio where we live stream like Kyle does a lot, and we help people put on streams like this. So if you have a podcast and due to the virus, you're like, oh man, we can't keep going. You can keep going. Just the magic of the internet, man. There's so many cool tools that can put people back together, even though they're at home. So, and you don't even need any special gear. You can use your phone. You can use your laptop. You can use your tablet. Anything with a camera and a tab and a microphone, and you're good. So,
absolutely, check out a Shared Universe. There's so many great shows that come from there. Mike and Ming show, and I watched. I don't know if I even know who they were the other day, but they were talking about sweets for like 10 minutes, and I just watched 10 minutes of these two people who I've never heard of talking about like chocolate.
Yeah.
And it was,
you
I saw it pop up. I'm like, I can listen to that. I need something to listen to. Boom. And it was two people talking about something they seemed to be clearly passionate about. So it was awesome.
Yeah. So thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you, man. We'll talk soon.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Bye-bye.
See
you later.
All right. That was the legend, Ming Chen from Comic Book Men. Thanks to him for popping on and talking about Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is something Amanda and I watched this week. Which is, every week we do a segment about things we've watched. And that was something we watched this week. So shout out to Ming. Make sure you tune in and you check those things out, the social medias, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams. And check out a Shared Universe podcast studio. All right. So now we're down to the last segment, unless there's something else you want to talk about.
I don't think so.
The last segment, as always, is the question and answer segment for us here at the store, where you can ask us questions and we will try to answer them. I think we're gonna forego that tonight. I think is what I've decided.
Unless you have a very pressing question.
Right. Does anybody have a very pressing question right now in the comments? Real big questions.
Pat, you don't count?
Pat, you do not count. I have to get rid of some things here. There we go. There. Cool. Does anybody have any questions in the comments for us real quick before we pop off for the night?
Mm-hmm.
That was cool. That wasn't something we planned. That was just a thing that happened.
Right, we saw that Ming was on the live stream, and so it was like, hey, you want to join us?
Which is
and
the
talk?
beauty of podcasting, really. Is
well,
that,
and of this live, you know.
Right, is
of
that
the
things
social
can
media.
happen sort of impromptu and lovely.
Well, it's the beauty of the internet, really, because, you know, we are able to, you know, be in contact with people.
Right.
And we are able to, within a matter of minutes, like you watched all of that kind of prep kind of unfold in front of your eyes, you know, where it was, oh, Ming's here. Oh, hold on, you know, we're going to send you a link, you know, and then we get this impromptu interview with Ming Chen because we watched this movie last night.
Right.
And it was fun to talk about. Mm-hmm. So.
Yes, so...
The beauty of the internet, my friends.
It's true, it is the beauty of the internet. Since no one seems to have any questions, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up for the evening.
We have some business to finish, and then we're going to be on our way home, I
Yes, I need to take a nap.
It's a sleep, Kyle.
No, I need to take a nap so that I can be rested for my sleep. That's the kind of situation I'm in right now. So, we will see everybody later. For Amanda, I've been Kyle. This has been...